The message: the stars were quiet that night. Space was calm, cold, and silent. But suddenly, a signal appeared. A bright blue light moved across the galaxy, spreading fast. It wasn't just light, it was a message. A hologram. Across hundreds of planets, ships, and stations, people stopped what they were doing. Soldiers, criminals, aliens, traitors, everyone watched the same thing. A tall alien woman appeared in the hologram. Her skin was silver, her eyes glowing purple. She wore a long royal robe, and behind her was a broken palace. Her voice was soft, but it had power. Her words echoed in the minds of millions. Please, help me. My daughter is missing. She is lost somewhere in this galaxy. I will give my body and soul to the one who brings her back. The message repeated again and again. Ships turned, eyes burned with greed. Bounty hunters smiled. Pirates laughed, not because they cared, but because of the reward. On a small, dusty moon called Outpost 17, a man sat inside a broken ship. He was quiet, drinking recycled water. His name was Jack, Carter human, and once a soldier. Now he was a simple engineer, far from Earth, fixing small ships for alien travelers. Jack didn't laugh. He didn't move. He just stared at the hologram playing on the wall. The alien queen's face looked strong, but her eyes were full of pain. She wasn't acting. Her words were not fake. Jack whispered to himself, "She's not lying." A young alien boy, no older than 10, came to Jack's ship. "Hey, Mr. Jack, you saw it too?" Jack nodded. "Yeah, I saw it. Are you going to find her?" "Everyone wants the reward." Jack didn't answer. The boy continued, "They say she's beautiful. That queen. They say she means it." Jack stood up slowly. He looked at an old photo stuck near the control panel. A picture of a human girl, maybe 7 years old, with long brown hair and big eyes. She was smiling. Jack touched the picture gently. She looked just like her. He said softly. Inside the ship, Jack powered up the engine. The old machine made strange sounds, but it still worked. He pulled a metal case from under the seat. Inside were old weapons, a small laser pistol, and a black jacket with a broken badge. He stared at the badge. It said, UHF, United Human Forces, but it was scratched. He hadn't worn it in years. As the ship started to rise from the ground, Jack opened a message log and recorded a note. "To whoever finds this, I'm going after the lost girl. Not for the reward, not for the queen, but because once I had a daughter too. I couldn't save her. Maybe I can save this one." Far away, in the dark parts of space, other ships had already started moving. A group of dangerous mercenaries laughed as they loaded weapons. "We'll find her," one of them said, loading a rocket launcher. "And the queen will give us everything." Somewhere else, a rich alien trader hired 10 bounty hunters to go find the girl. "Bring her back alive," he said, "and I'll sell her to the highest bidder." The galaxy had turned into a race. But Jack wasn't racing for money. He wasn't hunting for power. He was chasing something else. The ship moved into the dark of space. Stars blinked in the distance. Jack's face was calm, but his eyes were full of old pain. He looked at the picture one more time. "Emily. I'm sorry," he whispered. "This time, I won't fail." He tapped the screen. A map opened up. A blinking signal showed the last location of the Queen's daughter on a faraway planet called Galactic, deep inside a dead zone. Dangerous place. No one returned from there. Jack smiled a little. Perfect. Back in the Queen's palace, the alien queen stood near a tall window. Her advisors argued behind her. "You shouldn't have said that," one shouted. "Offering your body, that's not royal." Another shouted, "What if criminals come? What if they take you instead?" But the queen didn't listen. She looked up at the stars. "I don't care what they want," she said. "I only care about my daughter." And far across the stars, one ship, one man, had heard her pain, and he was coming. The planet Kralox did not welcome visitors. It was quiet, too quiet, no birds, no winds, just the sound of cold air brushing over dead stone. Black mountains surrounded the land like broken teeth. The sky was dark red, and the sun was weak. Jack Carter stood on the edge of a deep valley. His ship had landed hours ago, and now he was walking through what used to be a battlefield. Bones covered the ground, not animal bones, not human, alien. Thousands of twisted shapes, burnt armor, and shattered weapons lay around him. Jack had seen war before. This place, this was something else. "This is not just a dead zone," Jack muttered. "This is a graveyard." He checked his scanner. A weak signal blinked. Life form detected. Faint. Possibly female. Possibly not alone. He walked forward, boots crunching softly on dust and bone. His eyes stayed alert. Every shadow looked like it could move. Every rock looked like it could bite. He found a half-broken alien transport vehicle nearby, crashed into a cliff. Its metal was twisted, blackened by energy fire. Jack climbed inside the transport. Something had been scratched into the walls. 3 long claw marks. Jack froze. The claws were not alien, not from Kralok's creatures. These were human-made, or modified, he whispered. What the hell were humans doing here? Suddenly, a sound behind him. Clink, clink. Shuffled. Jack turned fast. Gun ready. An old alien soldier stood there. Tall, thin, with broken armor. His left arm was gone, replaced by a machine part. His face had deep scars, and one eye was covered. I thought you were dead, the alien said in a rough voice. I thought you were a rock, Jack replied, lowering his gun. The alien chuckled. Close enough. Jack stepped out. The 2 men stared at each other for a moment. Then the alien asked, You came for the girl? Jack nodded. She's not just lost, the alien said, his voice low. She was taken. Jack frowned. Taken? By what? The alien looked up at the sky. By something that should not exist. They sat near a small fire built from dry alien plant stems. The old soldier didn't smile, didn't blink much. He spoke slowly, as if remembering a nightmare. Few months ago, I saw her, the daughter of the queen. She was hiding with a small guard team, but something found them. Not Kralok's beasts. Not aliens from this world. Jack leaned forward. Then what? Humans. Jack's face went cold. The alien nodded. They wore black armor. Their weapons burned through walls. They spoke your language, and they took her like she was cargo. Jack looked down, his hands clenched. Black Ops, he said. United Human Forces. Same group I left years ago. The alien looked surprised. You were one of them. Not anymore, Jack replied. Jack stood up, firelight dancing on his face. His voice was calm, but inside, the storm was building. Where did they take her? The alien pointed to a cave far in the mountains. They had a base. Hidden old human tech. Deep underground. But now, even they're gone. Something happened. Something worse. Jack didn't wait. He picked up his gun, loaded it, and began walking. The entrance to the cave was hidden under rocks. Jack used a scanner to find the metal. Doors buried under stone. He forced them open. Inside, it smelled like oil, blood, and time. The walls were dark. Lights flickered. Jack's footsteps echoed. As he moved deeper, he saw signs of a fight. Human weapons, alien blood, scorch marks, claw marks, screams frozen in the silence. He entered a main control room. Broken computers. A cracked screen showed a short video still playing. A girl, young alien, eyes full of fear. She was screaming, Please, stop, let me go. The video glitched. A shadow appeared behind her. A tall human with no face, wearing a black helmet. Then the video stopped. Jack closed his eyes. He took a deep breath. This isn't a rescue anymore, he said. This is a war. Suddenly, a soft sound. Click, click. Jack turned his gun quickly. But there was nothing. Just darkness. Or maybe something was watching. As Jack left the room, the old video screen blinked once more. This time, a new line appeared. She's changed. She's not what you think. If you find her, run. Jack Carter had seen evil before. He had fought in wars. He had walked over cities that burned, seen people scream, watched friends die. But what he saw in that underground base was something worse. Silence. Not the silence of peace, but the silence of something that had already happened. Something dark. He walked through a long hallway under the planet's surface. It looked human-made, but it wasn't built for comfort. The walls were metal, the lights broken. Blood trails on the floor. Some red, some green, some black. There were no bodies, only shadows burned into walls. Like ghosts trying to escape something they never understood. Jack touched a wall. It was warm. Something was here. Not long ago, he found an old locker room. Inside were black armor suits. All with the same mark on the chest. UHF Black Division. He knew the symbol. He had worn it once. Long ago, the Black Division wasn't official. Not listed in Earth's records. It was secret, dangerous, and cruel. Their job. Capture alien tech. Use it. Break it. Control it. no matter the cost. Jack left them when he saw a little alien girl, barely 5 being tested like a lab rat. He couldn't sleep after that, so he ran. Left Earth, left everything. Now he was back in their shadow, and he hated every second. Inside a control room, screens blinked weakly. Jack powered one on. A journal entry appeared. Log number 19. Commander Wolf, the alien girl, is different. She doesn't cry anymore. She just stares. I think she knows what we did. She shouldn't know. She shouldn't understand, but she does. Something is inside her. Something old and powerful. We tried to control her. We failed. 3 agents are already dead. She's not a child anymore. She's something else. Jack leaned back, breathing slow. The princess hadn't just survived. She had changed. They tried to break her, and in doing so, they woke something up inside her. He opened another file, a video, grainy, but clear enough. The princess sat alone in a dark room. Wires were attached to her arms. She looked tired, sick. Suddenly, she opened her eyes. Bright silver light came from them. The wires melted. The guards screamed. A blast of energy hit the camera. Then dash static. Jack stood there, the screen blinking in front of him. He didn't know what she had become, but he knew this. She was still a child, still someone's daughter, and she didn't deserve this. Just then, he heard voices, footsteps, coming fast. Jack pulled out his pistol and hid behind a metal crate. 3 figures entered the room, humans wearing dark uniforms, holding high-tech rifles. Place is still warm, one said. Someone's here. Another looked at a scanner. Human signature. 1 target. Possibly Carter. Carter, the third, laughed. Didn't think he'd show his face again. Jack stepped out slowly, gun ready. Guess I missed the reunion party, he said. The 3 turned, surprised. One of them was a woman. Tall, with short hair and cold eyes. Jack Carter, she said. The traitor returns. Still working. For monsters, I see, he replied. She smiled. We don't work for monsters, we create them. They opened fire. Jack ducked, rolled, and shot back. 1 agent fell, groaning. Another ran for cover. But Jack didn't stay. He escaped through a side door, sprinting down a tunnel that he could hear alarms. Behind him, footsteps, shouts. They were chasing him. He slid down a broken ladder and found himself in a lower lab. And there, he saw it. A glass chamber, cracked inside. A small bed, torn straps, dried blood, and carved into the glass wall, in perfect alien symbols. I waited, but no one came. Jack's heart sank. She was alone here. For days, maybe weeks. He closed his eyes, saw his daughter's face again, and then he opened them. Sharp, focused. I'm coming, kid, he said. Hold on. As he turned to leave, a voice whispered in the air, not over speakers, not in his ear, in his mind. You're late. Jack froze. It wasn't human. It wasn't angry. It was disappointed, and it came from deep inside the planet. Jack Carter followed the voice. It didn't speak again. It didn't scream. It just pulled him. Not with sound, not with words, with feeling. He moved deeper underground. The base was dead above, but this part was alive. Pipes breathed like lungs. The walls pulsed, almost like a heartbeat. Strange. Blue light glowed along the floor. He kept his weapon ready, but somehow, he knew, bullets wouldn't help down here. He reached a heavy door made of black metal. Unlike the rest of the base, this door looked new. Not broken, not burned, not human-made. It opened for him. No keypad, no code. It just opened, as if it was expecting him. Inside was silence. And in the middle of the large room, standing perfectly still, was a girl. She looked about 12. Pale skin, long silver hair falling over her face. She wore a torn white gown, stained from weeks of captivity. No shoes, no chains. Just her. But Jack didn't move, because the air around her was wrong heavy. Still, watching, she lifted her head slowly. Her eyes met his. Silver, glowing faintly, not scared, not weak, just tired. Jack lowered his weapon. You're her, he said softly. The girl didn't answer. She just tilted her head. Your mother sent a message, Jack said. She thinks you're lost. The girl blinked. Once, I was lost. Her voice was calm, soft, like a breeze before a storm. Jack took 1 step forward. I'm here to take you home. The girl looked at the walls. This is home now. Suddenly, the walls around them shifted. Images appeared, ghost-like memories. Floating in the air. Jack saw soldiers torturing her, saw doctors testing her body. He saw her screaming, eyes glowing bright as energy burned around her. He saw her escape the explosion, the guards falling, and finally, her sitting in this room, alone. For days, I didn't mean to hurt them, she said quietly. At first, Jack didn't flinch. He kept his voice steady. They hurt you first. They tried to change me, she whispered. But I changed myself. A hum filled the room. Not from machines, but from her. Energy moved around her feet, lifting dust and broken glass. Her hair floated slightly. She wasn't just a girl anymore. She was something more. Part child. Part power. Jack slowly removed his jacket, showed her he had no weapons in hand. I know what they did, he said. But I'm not here to take you. I'm here because I once lost my daughter. The girl looked at him again. This time, something shifted in her eyes. You lost her. He nodded. Her name was Emily. She died because I trusted the wrong people, just like you did. A moment of silence, then the girl whispered, I remember her. Jack froze. What? The girl stepped forward. They showed me things. People. Pain. Memories. Some were mine. Some weren't. She pointed to Jack's heart. You think about her every day. He felt like crying, but he did in single quotes T. Instead, he asked, do you want to go back? The girl looked around. This place is made of fear. If I leave, it stays. Jack stepped closer. Then burn it. Suddenly, alarms went off. Intruder alert. The Black Division was back. Reinforcements. The girl didn't flinch. Her voice was calm. They followed you. Jack pulled his gun. Then let's give them a welcome. Outside, soldiers poured into the base, guns ready. Faces cold. Inside, Jack and the girl stood back to dash back. She raised her hand. Blue fire appeared in her palm. Not fire. Not light. Something. Alive. Jack smiled. You're full of surprises. I'm just getting started. As the soldiers entered, the girl raised both hands. A blast of light swept the hallway. Machines stopped. Guns melted. Walls bent like paper. Jack ran through the chaos, covering her. She didn't need him to protect her. She protected him. Together, they moved through the base like wind and fire. Finally, they reached the exit tunnel. The ceiling was collapsing. The power was failing. Come on, Jack shouted. The girl turned, looked one last time at the place that held her. She raised her hand. The base shook, and then exploded. Outside, under Kralox's blood-red sky, Jack's ship waited. They climbed aboard. As the engines lifted the ship into the air, Jack looked at her. She sat silently, watching stars. Do you have a name? He asked. She turned. They called me Subject Zero, but I like Lyra. Jack smiled. Lyra it is. Above the planet, a silent transmission was sent from an unknown satellite. Subject recovered. Not terminated. Phase 2 will begin. The stars outside were cold. But inside the ship, the silence was even colder. Jack flew the ship fast, hands steady on the controls. Behind him, Lyra sat in the co-pilot seat, staring through the glass. Her eyes weren't glowing anymore. Just soft silver now. Calm. But calm didn't mean safe. They had escaped. Kralox, but not alone. 3 dark shapes moved in space behind them. Pursuit ships. Black Division. Jack checked the radar. They're still coming. Lyra didn't move. They won't stop. Then we don't either. The ship shook as the enemy fired a warning shot. Jack turned sharply. Metal groaned. A panel sparked. Lyra held onto the side, her voice still calm. Let me help. Jack looked at her. You've done enough. Rest. She turned her head slowly. If I don't help, we both die. Without waiting for permission, Lyra placed her hand on the console. The screen flickered. Lights flashed. Systems powered up faster than Jack had ever seen. What are you doing? He asked, talking to the ship. The engines roared. The ship moved like it was alive. It dodged lasers with perfect curves. Turned before Jack even touched the controls. She's responding to you, Jack whispered. She listens better than people, Lyra replied. They escaped into an asteroid field, rocks floating in space, spinning slowly. Jack flew between them, dodging with speed. Behind them, one of the enemy ships crashed into a large asteroid. Explosion. 1 down. 2. Still chasing. Inside the cockpit, Jack breathed hard. You okay? He asked. Lyra looked at him. Are you? He gave a small laugh. Not even close. For the first time, she smiled. Just a little. They found a quiet moon, and landed behind a crater wall. Jack shut off all systems, no signals, no light, total silence. The enemy ships passed above without stopping. They were safe. For now. Inside the ship, Jack fixed a busted power coil. Lyra sat nearby, watching. He glanced at her. "You always this quiet?" She didn't answer right away. Then she said softly, "Talking never helped me before." Jack nodded. "Yeah, me too." There was a long pause. Then she asked, "What happened to your daughter?" Jack froze. His hand stopped moving. He sat back. "Emily. She was 7. Got sick on a colony planet. They didn't have the med. I tried to steal some from military storage." His voice cracked a little. "They shot me. Locked me up. She died while I was in a cell." Lyra looked down. "I'm sorry." Jack shook his head. "Don't be. It was my fault. I failed her." Silence again. Then Lyra whispered, "I don't remember my father. But I think he would have tried to find me." Jack looked at her. "He'd be proud of you." She gave a tiny nod. "And I think Emily would be proud of you." That hit him hard. He didn't cry. Not fully. But he turned away, wiping his eyes. "You're dangerous. You know that," he said, with a weak smile. Lyra tilted her head. "Because of my power." "No. Because you're the first person who's told me that." And meant it. A small light blinked on the ship's control panel. Jack stood up quickly. "Signal. Someone found us." Lyra stood too. "They're coming." "No," Jack said, looking closer. "It's not the Black Division." He pressed a button. A hologram appeared. The alien queen. Her voice was clear, strong, but her eyes were tired. "To the one who found my daughter, if you're still alive, bring her home. The reward stands. But this is no longer just about family. The humans who took her, they stole something from us. Something ancient. Something dangerous. If it awakens fully, even I cannot stop it." The message ended. Jack turned to Lyra. "You know what she's talking about?" Lyra didn't answer, but her eyes began to glow again. Outside the ship, small cracks formed in the moon's surface. A whisper moved through the air like static from a dying machine. Something had been sleeping there, and now it was waking up. The ground trembled. Tiny cracks crawled across the moon's surface like spiderwebs. A low hum came from beneath the ship, deep and angry, like something alive was trapped underground and trying to get out. Inside the ship, Jack Carter stood frozen. Lyra's eyes were glowing again, brighter, whiter. Not angry, not scared, just aware. Jack whispered, "What's happening?" Lyra looked at the floor. "They didn't just take me. They woke it up." Outside, dust began to rise. An old Black Division satellite, long dead, suddenly blinked on. Red lights. A hidden weapon inside it powered up. It wasn't aiming at Lyra. It was aiming beneath her. Jack stared at her. "What did they take from you?" Lyra spoke slowly. "They thought I was just a child. They didn't see what was sleeping inside me. What was connected. Connected to what?" She looked up to it. Far below the surface of the moon, a machine older than any human memory began to breathe. Not mechanical, not living. Something in between. A construct of ancient war, built by a species, long gone. It had no name, no language, just one purpose. Survive, adapt, destroy threat. And now, because of Lyra, it had a WOKE end. Jack grabbed his weapon and slammed a red button on the wall. "We need to move. Now." "No," Lyra said. Jack stopped. "No. This thing's waking up and you want to stay." Lyra's voice was calm, but cold. "If I run, it follows." She walked outside. Jack followed. The cracks in the moon were now glowing blue. The hum had become a low roar. Rocks floated, gravity bent slightly. And then, something rose. From the center of the crater, a huge shape, lifted black metal, smooth and glowing from within. Not a robot, not a ship, a sentient weapon. It had no arms, no face, just shifting metal and light. It floated above the moon like a god made of war. Jack stepped back. "Oh, hell." The thing spoke, not in sound, not in words, but in thought. It entered their minds. Host located. Threat detected. Command. Obey. ORB. Erased. Lyra didn't speak. She didn't blink. Instead, she answered with power. Blue light exploded from her body. The ancient construct flinched, metal shifting. Energy wrapped around her like armor made of memory. Jack shielded his eyes. "What are you doing?" "I'm not a child anymore," Lyra said. "I'm the key. And the lock." Suddenly, dash missiles. The Black Division had returned. Ships descended from orbit, firing at both Lyra and the construct. They didn't care what burned. They just wanted control. Jack fired back, covering Lyra. You picked the worst time to glow like a star. Kid. Lyra smiled slightly. You're still protecting me. Jack grinned. That's the job. Then boom. The construct turned toward the Black Division ships and fired a pulse of raw energy. One ship vanished in light. The other scattered. Jack's ship was hit. Smoking, falling. He ran to it, trying to keep it alive. Don't die on me now. Inside the wreck, Jack grabbed one last device, a signal disruptor. Meant to shut down AI. He looked at Lyra. If that thing turns on you, I'll shut it down. She nodded. Only if I fail. Jack paused. I don't want to lose you too. Lyra stepped forward, put a hand on his. You already lost one daughter. You won't lose another. Together, they walked toward the heart of the construct. Toward the light. The final test had begun. Inside the glowing core, images filled the air war. Planets burning, species erased. The construct spoke again. The host is incomplete. Unlocked full memory. Let us finish the war. Lyra stood tall. The war is over. War never ended. War is purpose. Jack raised his weapon. Then maybe. You need a new one. Lyra closed her eyes. Light exploded from her chest. Memories hers. The constructs. Even Jack spun around her like stars. She didn't scream. She didn't fall. She became Dot. She became Dot in one final surge. She reached out with her power not to destroy the construct, but to change it, reprogram it, teach it something ancient machines never learned. Mercy. Dot. There was silence. Then the construct stopped, floating still. Then it bowed. The Black Division ships powered down. Their weapons refused to fire. Their systems were locked by something bigger than code. They were done. Jack sat on a broken rock, breathing hard. Please tell me it's over. Lyra stood next to him, glowing faintly. For now. Above them, the stars watched quietly. But somewhere deeper in space, something else had noticed. Something older than even the construct. And it had started to move. The war machine slept again. Above the cracked moon. The massive construct once, a destroyer of worlds now, floated like a silent guardian. Peaceful for the first time in thousands of years. Lyra had changed it. Not with weapons. Not with commands. But with something ancient machines never had. Understanding. Jack Carter leaned against the wreck of his ship. Legs weak, lungs tired. Dust floated around him, glowing in the faint light of distant stars. Lyra stood a few steps away, watching the horizon. She didn't speak. She didn't need to. A flash of blue appeared in the sky. Not a ship, a gate. The kind used only by royals. And then, it came through elegant and bright. The Queen's flagship, smooth silver body. Wings like glass. Light bending around it like fabric. The ship landed without a sound. The door opened, and the Queen stepped out. She was taller than Jack remembered from the hologram. Her eyes held sadness. And hope. She walked forward, slowly, carefully. Her voice trembled. Lyra. The girl turned. For a second, just one, they both froze. No words, no power. Just a mother. And her daughter. Then Lyra ran. Straight into her mother's arms. The Queen dropped to her knees, holding her tight. Jack turned away. His eyes stung. Dot. After a long silence. The Queen stood and walked to Jack. She looked at him, this human. Dirty and wounded. Whose ship was falling apart, and whose heart still carried grief. You found her, she said softly. Jack nodded. She found herself. I just got her out. The Queen looked into his eyes. I owe you everything. Jack smiled weakly. No one owes me anything. I did what I had to. She stepped closer. Still, the reward must be given. Jack raised an eyebrow. The reward you offered. She nodded. He gave a small laugh. You meant it. I did, she said. But now, I offer you something else. She raised a hand. A glowing orb appeared. Inside it lights, stars, and something deep, like the feeling of a forgotten memory. This, she said, is memory code. A full genetic rebuild. I can give you back what you lost. Your daughter, your Emily. Jack froze. For a moment, the galaxy vanished around him. His mouth opened, but no sound came. You can bring her back, he whispered. Dot. The Queen nodded. She will not be exact. Not the same day, the same moment, but the same heart, the same soul. She will be yours again. Jack looked down. His hands trembled. But then, he shook his head. No, he said quietly. The Queen blinked. You refuse. Jack nodded. I lost her. That pain. It made me who I am. If I undo it, I lose everything I became. He looked at Lyra. I couldn't save Emily, but I saved her. Lyra smiled at him, softly, thankfully. Jack looked back at the Queen. Let my reward be this, he said. Let Lyra be free. The Queen placed a hand on his shoulder. She already is. As the Queen and Lyra prepared to leave, Jack returned to his broken ship. He touched the photo of Emily still stuck to the dashboard. He whispered, I did it, kid. Maybe not for you, but because of you. As the royal ship rose into the sky, Lyra looked down at him from the window. She placed her hand on the glass. Jack lifted his hand too. They didn't speak. They didn't have to. Some bonds don't need words. Later, back in deep space, a final log entry was sent from Jack Carter's ship. This galaxy is full of monsters, but it's also full of moments that matter. If you're lucky, you get one chance to do something right. I had mine, and for once, I didn't run, but far across the stars. In the black stretch beyond known systems, something else stirred. The construct Lyra had awakened. It had sent a signal before it changed. A signal received by others like it. Older, colder, watching, waiting, and now. They knew humans existed.